Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 9 of the Premodern Showdown Series. I'm Michael Hoyp. I'm joined tonight, as always, by Flint Espel. Say hi, Flint.
Hi, everybody.
And tonight we have our schedule. We will have things starting off with Robin against Gabe, and then later tonight we will have Shawn against Phil. So let me quick go over to the standings. So we've played 4 weeks of the Premodern Showdown Series 2. So this is where we are at before the match tonight. As you can see, it's crowded up at the top. There are 4 players tied at 3-1. That is Gabe, Aaron, Andy, and Robin. So Gabe and Robin are our match tonight. So one of them will advance to 4-1, and the other one will be at 3-2. And then our second match tonight is the other side of the coin, where Shawn and Phil will be fighting for one of those players will have their first victory. So just gives you a little bit of a picture of where we're at. And so it's definitely anybody's game. I think I don't know if anyone's mathematically eliminated at this point. So it's still anyone's game. I think what we're doing for playoff is the top 4 players advance to the playoff for our last week. Okay, let's go over to our ban screen. Let's talk about what these 2 players have available to them. Robin's 3 decks are Oath of Clerics, Blue, White, Red Wizards, and Pox. His Oath of Clerics deck is banned. Gabe brings Netherhops, Fairies, and Dauthi Aggro, but his Netherhops deck is banned. So Robin has elected to play his Pox deck, and then Gabe has picked his Dauthi Aggro deck. So we will be seeing a lot of swamps tonight. Let's go over, just to take a quick look at these decks. We have seen both these decks in action, but we'll quick highlight maybe what's going on. The Pox deck is a disruptive, controlling deck. What it looks to do is make sure your opponent doesn't have a good board presence and then takes out all the cards in their hand, mostly with Bottomless Pit. And that is an enchantment. Once it stays in play, it makes a player discard a card at random during their upkeep. And so if it can keep their opponent's hand empty, then the rack will finish them off and deal some damage. And then the controlling elements it has with Curse Scroll and Pox are ways to disrupt the opponent or get rid of their creatures. So this mono black deck looks to kind of keep things at bay with some of those spells, and then keep things out of the opponent's hand, and then kind of whittle their life total away. The other deck is the Dauthi Aggro deck, and this is closer to like a Suicide Blacklist, but there are some different elements in this list that aren't present in a lot of the standard stock lists. And that consists of Necrotic is one element. So that is a 3-mana 2/2 that if you remove I'm back. I think I had a hiccup on my stream. So okay, so we were just talking about the black deck. It has a little bit of reach with Drain Life and Karavek Spite. But in most of all, it's just trying to attack the opponent and be the aggressor and knock them down. So before we jump over to the match, let's go over to the Get to Know the Players tab. We have some interesting tidbits about them. So we asked the players what your biggest pre-modern rival was, and Robin said that he has a 0% match win against Gabe Farkas in tournament games. So kind of interesting that that's his opponent tonight. So Robin's hoping that he can break that streak and get on the scoreboard against Gabe. It looks like we're still frozen.
Shout out in chat if
Yeah,
you can see the Get to Know Robin Lundh slide.
yeah. I'm guessing. I think if some of them are, then I think what you just need to do is if you could refresh your browser, I think that should solve it. I think. So Robin said that his favorite artist is Rebecca Guay. Is there any Rebecca Guay art that like really stands out? I'm trying to think which
The
is
one
her.
in my background right now, Priest of Titania, is
Okay.
amazing.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of that one. But Gaia's Blessing is another one that I love. Um, she's got some really cool stuff.
I feel like the card I think of is like Persecute Artist from Unhinged is the one I think
What,
of.
what about Hanakami?
I mean,
Oh, it's pretty good actually.
I do like that
It's a
art,
cool
and
picture.
I do like that card anyways. So, um,
Yeah, it was great in standard.
Mana Breach is a cool card. I looked at that card and I'm like, I think this card actually could be playable. I don't want to build like a prison deck with it. But yeah. Uh, which Dark Ritual is Rebecca Guay? Is that the Mercadian Masks one?
Yep.
Okay.
Masks
Yep.
is Gwei.
Yep, that is a cool one.
Pretty cool.
Best flavor text according to Robin is its respiration is your expiration, and that is Plague Bearer. Is a card I know I'm fond of because I got a copy from I believe it was Kurt Hahn, and so that was like a local player, and he was very well known to like not use sleeves and just like shuffle the crap out of his cards. So any of the cards that I got from Kurt are like beat, and so I have this one copy of Plague Bearer, and it's just very 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 heavily played. At a,
Nice.
that's what I always think of when I see Plague Bearer. Robin's favorite vacation location is Sweden, and he's from Sweden. So I've never been out there, but especially with all the magic seed, it would be really cool to get out there and see some of the things that Sweden has to offer.
Agreed.
Uh, if you've watched any of the previous episodes and we talked about Robin's favorite card, you might understand why he said his favorite pizza toppings or combination is Duress plus Cabal Therapy. Well, I do agree those are a good combination. I don't agree that they're necessarily the best pizza toppings, but well, I'll take his word for it, I guess. So we'll move over to Gabe, and we asked him who his biggest pre-modern rival was, and he correctly predicted, saying Robin will say it's me, but I disagree. He said I really don't have rivals in pre-modern. I don't see myself as that competitive. So kind of fitting that both players recognize that they have played each other a bunch of times, and there's just a friendly rivalry. I guess it's just a matter of opinion, but it'll be interesting to see where they stand at the after this match tonight. Gabe's favorite artist is Susan Van Camp, at least for pre-modern cards, and then Andy Rusu before that. I definitely don't know any Andy Rusu cards. I'm I the Susan Van Camp card that comes to mind I think is Waiting in the Weeds is one I think of. But I feel like there might be more cards that are more
Susan
competitive.
Susan did Desert Twister,
Okay.
um, Fairy Noble, all the glyphs in Legends, all even though those aren't pre-modern legal. Jackal Pup, Meditate, other pre-modern cards.
Is Susan Van
Sea
Camp Waiting in the
Sprite,
Weeds or is that someone else?
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sea Sprite, Varchild's War Riders. Um, yeah, she did Waiting in the Weeds.
Okay.
Yep. Wellspring, Whirling Dervish, Willow Fairy. Yeah, all the Willow Priestess fairies. That's all. That's all Susan.
Okay.
Makes
Gabe
sense.
oh, I was gonna say Gabe's favorite location he's listed as Paris. I haven't been there, but would be very cool to visit. And his favorite pizza topping is a little more traditional, at least compared to Robin. And he said buffalo chicken, um, which I like. I have to be in a certain mood for it, but it's a good pizza topping. Okay, so now that we've presented that, let's go over the play screen. We have our players ready. We have Robin on the left with Pox, and we have Gabe on the right with the Dothy aggro deck.
All right.
And we can get things started.
I'll let them know.
What are you looking forward to seeing in this match, Flint?
I'm looking forward to seeing if Gabe can close it out super quickly and how things change after board when he has access to Withered Wretch and Sabo's Web.
Okay. So it looks like Gabe is going to put a card in the bottom. He is on the play, so he will
Yep.
start with 6 cards on the play. And I didn't see a mulligan from Robin. And Gabe's doing some swirling. I guess that's part of his dark ritual to get his lucky cards in his hand. And we're gonna get started. I will throw
All
up
right.
our poll. I want you guys to.
Wait, so we see what do we see here?
Oh, oh,
A turn one stasis.
oh! It's Robin's worst enemy.
Got him.
So Gabe's up to no good, and he's showing off his trolling skills with a turn one stasis.
Yes, the Sedgernet troll strikes again. So Robin hates stasis, and as a joke, Gabe cleared it with us to open with that just to tease Robin.
All right, but
Ron approves.
his real opening is actually a little more exciting. It's got a dark ritual into a bad moon as well as a carnophage. So he's got a threat and a nice booster there. I did throw up the poll, so you guys have a couple minutes to predict who is going to win this match. Whether you're thinking the Pox deck will take it down or if the Dothy aggro will strike. So we see Robin just drawing and discarding a Nether Spirit. So this was a tactic that we saw Gabe take with the Netherhops deck earlier to get the Nether Spirit in the graveyard right away. And so
Yep.
Robin's going to take advantage of this. It's a little bit scarier here because Gabe's deck is a lot more aggressive than I think the deck that Gabe played against. So skipping your turn might be a little scarier for Robin.
Sure.
But it'll provide a blocker, and I mean, like the bad moon. The bad moon, I guess, does work for all creatures, right?
Sure does.
Okay, all right. I guess that makes a lot more sense. I was thinking it was just Gabe's for a second, and so that play makes a lot more sense given that the 3/3 can trade with the Carnophage. So yeah, we see Gabe not paying any life because he's not willing to trade his Carnophage for another Spirit that's just going to come right back. All right, Curse Scroll is what Robin adds.
Do you think he has the Dothy Embrace?
That
He's
was,
just living the dream.
I mean, there's a number of copies of the Dothy Embrace in his deck. I think he has 3, so that would be pretty good. So interesting to see that Robin missed his second land drop. So I wonder if like the Nether Spirit discard was kind of his plan B, and he was hoping to draw like a land on turn 1 into if he had like if he drew a second land. I wonder if he would have changed his play pattern, like if he would have not discarded
Wait,
the hand size.
did the spirit block the Carnophage?
Um,
Spirit's a 2/2, right? Shouldn't they trade? Or did I
yeah,
miss something?
you might want to check with them because it looked like he like put that in the graveyard. Gabe's putting himself at 18, so I guess he has played life with Carnophage. But we'll check in with them and make sure
Okay.
that we get this squared away. Okay, so Robin cast a Duress, and then I don't know if he hit anything, but then he used a Cabal Therapy to take out a Phyrexian Ghoul. Did they see your message?
I just sent it.
Okay. So hopefully they're seeing their message and then they'll. Because at this point, oh, well, now we're attacking again. All right,
So he's sacking it this time, I guess.
well, but then why did the Nether Spirit die? Is he thinking that his Carrion Feeder is a 3/3 and this game is all
Maybe,
backwards right now?
maybe he blocked Carrion Feeder, but
I think they're still at the point where they're thinking that Gabe's creatures are bigger than Robin's. That
Robin just messaged just realized.
this one's kind of tricky. I mean, like if it were just like the one combat with the or the Carnophage, I think it's pretty easy to back up, but it kind of kept going. So kinda,
He just asked what what we want them to do.
um, no, the Bad Moon is in play. So the turn before, I mean, I don't know how easy this is to back up because Nether Spirit blocked Carnophage like 2 turns ago, and then he blocked the Carrion Feeder again.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not exactly sure what the easiest. I
Gabe's saying he'll put Feeder in the graveyard.
I mean, I guess that seems fair. I don't know. Like it's yeah, I don't think you technically could back up and skip the previous one if once we're past this point. So I guess that's the best way to do it is just well the problem is that the Carniface should have traded with another spirit the turn before, and then the Carrion Feeder would not have had a creature to sack and it would have just ran into the 2/2.
Yeah.
So or ran into the 3/3 as a 2/2. But yeah, I think this is just the easiest way to move past this is kind of play it as it is. So okay, so we see a Necrotog. So this guy can get bigger than the 3/3, but I mean, still, this another spirit that just will come back over and over and over will be a problem. We do see an Innocent Blood. So yeah, that card's gonna do some work, I think, especially yeah, if Gabe's or if Robin's able to keep the threats off the table, and now we see an addition of
Two
two
racks.
to the rack. So
Gabe's at 11.
okay, so he does not have a lot of cards in hand.
Yeah.
So this seems like an awkward spot for Gabe. If he, because none of his creatures are like that big. I guess with the Bad Moon, maybe they can survive Curse Scroll.
Hmm.
So we see a Curse Scroll activation. Robin takes a point from Cabal Pit. I think he missed, and then he's. Oh no, he hit, and then Gabe took. He had one card in hand, so he took 4 from the.
Yeah, he's at 5
Yeah.
now. So he's in a rough spot, right? Because he needs to play cards because that spirit's coming back and that scroll is a thing. But if he does, it's just so much damage that he
Well, yeah,
might just
Robin will be
scoop
able
her.
to scroll during upkeep, put Gabe to 3, and with 2 cards in hand, he's going to take 2 damage. So he'll be at 1, I believe. Yeah, so I think there's not much that Gabe can really do from this point. I think he will.
He doesn't scroll during upkeep, but he plays another scroll. Oh,
Sure.
and now he's going to take 1 and do it
Okay.
with the next card, which we see as a spinning darkness.
Okay. So Gabe will go to 3, and then he'll go to 1
Yep.
with from the rack trigger, and this would have to be a very miraculous card. I guess. I mean, would it drain life? No.
Now, he's going to scoop him up, I think.
Yep. So it looks like the Dothy aggro deck has fallen. A game win for the Pox deck. So
I mean, stuck with that Forsaken City opening, man.
Yeah, I don't know if turn on stasis is very good, but yeah. So I mean, I felt like Gabe was doing some work, and then all of a sudden the corner just turned, and he was in trouble. So let's look at the Pox list. So this sideboard cards that could see interesting. Ensnaring Bridge could be interesting because if you could empty your hand, then prevent the creatures from attacking. Though Gabe does have like a decent amount of reach in terms of like Paravex Spite and Drain Life that some other like creature decks don't always have. The other than that, like I don't think this is a negator match. Are there cards that look interesting to you? How many cards does Engineered Plague hit?
um, that's a good question. I don't know the creature types on the Slayer and
I think they're
the
Dothies.
Negator. The Dothies, they're just
Yeah,
the Dothy Slayer. Because he's got Carniphage and Carrying Feeder for zombies. Necrotog, is Necrotog is just an Atog? Phyrexian Ghoul.
Well, this
Yeah, I don't
Dothy
know.
horse is Beast on this old version. I don't know if it's been updated, but
I don't know. I think I like the bridges the most for him.
well,
And Spinning
I,
Darkness is just not good.
yeah, I was gonna say I would recommend that he takes out Spinning Darkness, since that
Yeah.
deals to a non-black creature. Um, Other than that, like I don't see any cards that are like real bad. I mean, maybe Pox is just too slow. I'm not sure. I know from the Robin school of thought he's not the biggest fan of the actual card pox in his list, so he might be keen to take that one out. But I've pulled up Gabe's deck and we'll look at his sideboard.
Mhm.
There are Diabolic Edicts does not seem good.
No.
Powder Keg is definitely a card that I can see coming in,
Yep.
destroying the rack, destroying Curse Scroll, giving you an option to destroy Ensnaring Bridge.
Yep.
What else does it hit?
From Robin's list, it doesn't hit enchantments. Remember that, folks. So Bottomless Pit is safe. Can hit Scalding Tongs.
Okay,
He could do it for 0 if Robin activates factories.
okay.
So yeah, pretty good. I mean, I think it's really like 2-2-2 there. I think it's 2 Powder Keg, 2 Web, and 2 Withered Wretch. Is probably what he ends up doing. He
Do you?
may board in the Spite for
I
some
was to say
reach.
he might want more spites because you might get in a spot where like you're low and you're just looking to draw like a final burn spell kind of thing.
Mhm.
What cards are you interested in taking out? I guess.
See, that is a really good question, and I don't know. I mean, maybe he shaves the carrion feeders. I don't know how good they are
Well,
on
I
the
guess
list.
you could take out Dothi Embrace, right? Because the only well, I guess the creatures that Robin has is that one Nether Spirit and then Mishra's Factory. So I mean, I guess there are more creatures than I initially thought. I was thinking it was just the Nether Spirit, but
Yeah.
that's probably card I would look to cut first, and like maybe like Drain Life. It's just not that efficient. You're never like taking out a creature or anything, and your life
What about
totals.
Vendetta?
Oh yeah, yeah, that one can go. Yeah, that's well. Is it Vendetta better than Drain Life? I don't know. Like it could get a Mishra's Factory at like a cheap activation because the Drain Life is a sorcery. Um, I might. I don't know. Neither card seems that good, but I guess you are trying to take out cards anyway, so I guess both of those would go.
Yeah, I think I would bring in the webs instead of the vendettas, right? Because
Yeah.
you get the cantrip and it'll have kind of the same effect.
Hmm.
Maybe he just shaves, right? Maybe he takes out one embrace. Maybe he takes out the bad moons. They're good against curse scroll. Um,
I think you still want the Bad Moons.
you
I
yeah,
mean,
you keep
there's
them.
yeah, like it is a card that you can play down, and I don't know. I just like yeah, it looked really bad that game because like the Nether Spirit came back, but like there's only one Nether Spirit in the deck, and you can't always count on him drawing it. And plus, you're bringing in Withered Wretch, so you still have an answer to that too.
Gotcha.
All right, well, let's go over. Let's see how the rest of the match will unfold. Gabe gets to be on the play again. He's going to start. I mean, his ideal start is some combination of Dark Ritual and then putting two threats in play. Uh, the difference between like putting one creature and two kind of shuts off, not shuts off, but reduces the effectiveness of a card like Innocent Blood. Because if Gabe still has a creature in play, then Robin will be taking damage every turn. But if he is able to answer Gabe's turn on creature, then Robin's life total is a lot less pressured. So I think that's probably the card that I think Robin wants to see the most early is like a card like Innocent Blood, and Gabe is looking for pretty much Dark Ritual. I think usually his best draws will involve that. It was Gabe flashing some stasis cards again.
Of course.
All right, so we see a turn one Dark Ritual into a Carrion Feeder and a Dothy Slayer. So
Slayer's good.
yep, so this is the type of hand I think like Gabe needs because um, it'll allow some chip damage to come in. So we see a different Dark Ritual for Robin. They might be
Tim the
discussing,
Enchanter.
yeah, which one is better.
Oh, what's he gonna run out?
Robin is thinking. I mean, that's the thing. Like when I played the Pox deck, is there are a surprising number of lines you can take on the first turn. There's a lot of your cards cost one, and especially when you cast a Dark Ritual, you do have a lot of whether you play a couple of one drops, if you're going to play like a bottomless pit, Well, it looks like here he's opting for a funeral charm, and I have to imagine there's a follow up. Okay,
Yeah,
and
innocent blood.
innocent blood. Okay, so Robin uses 3 cards to get rid of. I mean, I
It's three
guess
and
not.
three.
Okay, and so the uh, duress will reveal a. I think it's a Phyrexian Ghoul and then a Phyrexian
Yep.
Negator. So we're all Phyrexia here. So
Team Phyrexia.
it was interesting that Gabe took the conservative play. He said, "I'm not going to use this Dark Ritual on the turn one Negator. I'm going to respect the Innocent Blood," and it kind of paid off in that situation because Robin did have it. So
Yep.
here we see a Tasaba's Web, and that will shut down like cards like Mishra's Factory and Cabal Pit if they
And
get
Wasteland.
tapped in Wasteland,
Yep.
and it also just draws a card for Gabe. So that was actually a good card to draw off the top because I mean a creature probably would be better, but given that it replaces itself, it's in play now. It dodged the duress, so things look okay for Gabe if he's able to play one of these 3 drops next turn. I think things are a little hairier for him if he's not applying any pressure, but things don't look so bad.
There's the keg.
Yes. So
It's a party in Phyrexia.
this will slowly be able to deal. Is like 2 of the card he's looking for? Do you think he's looking to tick it up to 3, or do you think it just depends on how Gabe is deploying his threats?
We'll see how Gabe deploys his threats, right?
Yeah, I think so. If it also depends like if Robin has a third. I guess if he has a third land, he only has 2 cards in his hand. He'd probably be able to like to cast a 3 drop and then leave a land tap for a while. It probably wouldn't be that big of a hindrance in the spot once he resolves his 3 drop. Okay. So Gabe will untap and draw. We'll see if he has a third land. Picking up a card and
Ooh, is he going to do it?
so okay, he's going for Phyrexian goal. Okay.
Playing it safe.
I mean, I think I just go the negator there, right?
You think you
What
just jam it?
like what the worst thing is it gets innocent blooded, right?
Yep.
Like there's I mean, you're not afraid of like dark ritual curse scroll activate, right? Then you just sacrifice like Tasabu's web in a land or something.
So there is the Wasteland.
Okay.
You see a Cabal Therapy here, maybe?
Oh, there is a
Scroll.
curse scroll. Okay. Well,
Oof. That's rough for Negator.
I mean, yeah, I guess I'm trying to think like if you had Negator in play last turn, you'd be dealing 5, and then I still think I might have gone for it. Like if this were a Negator, I think you'd still be in like decent shape for Gabe's perspective. You have like 2 permanents to sack, and if you're dealing 10 damage, then like maybe you get rid of it then. But like if your guy dealt 10 damage and you had to sack another permanent, I think you're pretty happy with that.
All right, we have Necrotog.
Well, this guy can get kind of big.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny that if we ever get to spots where Robin is activating Curse Scroll and he has multiple cards in hand, Gabe just kind of has to like eat a creature every time, just like out of respect of the chance of Robin hitting. Because even if Gabe just passes and Robin does hit, then you don't have another chance to respond. So, an interesting interaction against Curse Scroll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did his Wasteland? Did he use his Wasteland? No, he hasn't used his Wasteland yet. Okay.
No.
Yeah, I think he's got his powder keg on too, so I'm guessing he is. I mean, he might say like, yeah, I can pick this up to 3 and get rid of both the creatures.
Does that seem greedy? Like, because right now the web is shutting off 2 of his mana, right?
Yeah, but if you're getting rid of like 2 of Gabe's creatures, then you have time to like draw their land. I don't. I mean, I can see it either way, but like, as if you just get rid of the Tasabu's web, I mean, like, are you effectively dealing with this board state? I mean, Gabe could get in. a pretty big chunk of damage. How many creatures are in the graveyard? 3 right now, right?
3. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, the Mighty Penguin Force of Will is banned in this format.
the Necrotic can always dig up a meal. Uh, I don't.
It's kind of cute.
I say what he's eating doesn't seem much of a meal. It just seems all it's like bones. Doesn't seem like there's any meat on that.
Maybe there's some sweet, sweet marrow in there.
Yeah. I won't try and stop him. I guess I'll leave him be. Yeah,
Let him do his thing.
if I saw the Necrotog out in the desert or wherever he is, I guess I would.
You do you, buddy.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to get too close. Otherwise, he might find that maybe my flesh would taste a little bit better. Is that true? Some vultures only eat bones. I did not know that.
That's cool. You know what push-up lizards eat?
Opponents.
Whatever the hell they want, bro.
Sure. All right, so we see an activation of Curse Scroll. I'm guessing this would be going on the Phyrexian Ghoul.
Yeah, he's going to be targeting the ghoul. I think with the sack trigger on the stack.
Well, he's not sacking. Oh, he sacked the Carnophage?
Sack Carnophage, yeah.
Interesting. Hmm. I guess that kind of makes like. I guess the one way to do that is kind of forces Robin to use his mana right now, so that he has to use the powder keg on 2, so that we get to keep the Necrotog in play. So he exiled, was it 4 creatures?
3, I believe. Yeah, a Carnophage, a Carrion Feeder, and a Dothy Slayer.
So there's still 1 in the graveyard then?
Is there?
Well, he had just played a Carnophage, right? And sacked it to the Phyrexian Ghoul?
Yeah, but he exiled the Carnophage. Carnophage, Carrion Feeder, and Dothy Slayer were the 3.
Okay.
So there's an Embrace. There's 1 card underneath it, but I don't think it's a creature.
So Robin's at 7.
That's a huge chunk, but I mean, the longer this game goes, the more likely it is that Gabe just completely runs out of steam. I mean, he has no cards in his hand right now. Robin just Funeral Charmed the Dothy Embrace.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that the Curse Scroll activation was before the sacrifice. I was thinking it was the other way around, and that's why I was confused. Okay.
Well, it looks like he went to do it and then decided not to be fair.
Right.
Otherwise, he would not be untapping one of those lands.
We did see a Funeral Charm take out a card, and that's the Drain Life, right? Oh no, that's a Dothy Embrace.
It's Dothy Embrace, yeah.
It looks like a Dark Banishing.
All right, Negator is in play.
Well, I think Gabe will be fine sacrificing some permanents to deal a bunch of damage. So, is there what can
for how much here?
a lot? I mean, natural's 9. It could be
2,
more.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Well, the powder keg's at 3 now, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, why did he play the? Did he just like force him to blow it up? But he was going to blow it up anyway, right?
I think he might have forgot. I think that was probably just
maybe a play mistake.
I think he might have just forgot about it.
When he played it, I thought about that. I was like, what am I missing here? But maybe he just forgot.
Robin will stay at 7, and all the creatures are cleared up. And so he still hasn't tapped that Wasteland or that Mistress Factory, correct?
Correct.
All right. Well, his Curse Scroll is kind of kept at bay, and so I guess that's the silver lining of this position for Gabe.
I wonder if Robin has a swamp in his hand. Would you? would you? I guess he would have played it now, right? Like
yeah.
He wouldn't hold it back now, but that would have been a pretty sweet play.
Well, Gabe has a powder keg of his own.
Hmm.
How long are you willing to hold on to this powder keg at one? Because you know it takes out other threats like the rack or something.
Rack, yeah.
And so Gabe used, or I mean, Robin used a dark ritual, and so
Yep.
that he only had one card in hand, and then he used the curse scroll and revealed a Mishra's Factory.
That web's doing work.
Yeah, uh, I mean, yeah, it'd be interesting. So I mean, because at this point, from I mean, I guess having a 2/2 blocker isn't very good. I was to say Robin could still activate the Mishra's Factory and block without like the factories tapping, but a 2/2 is not gonna line up very well against Gabe's creatures. It's either gonna trade or just die. All right, so the powder keg does tick up to one.
Yep. He's thinking about it.
Does this mean he has like a creature that dies to Curse Scroll in his hand?
Probably. Yeah.
All right, Robin will name. Is that a wasteland?
Yeah, it looks like it. So what's he running out here? A Dothy would be amazing. He's tapping two.
All right,
Yeah, that's
Delphi
great.
Slayer. Okay,
Can't be blocked.
he's got to attack every turn though.
Yep. It's not blocking.
He technically can block.
He technically can, but it won't in this match.
Well, yeah, he can. There's he could give Dothy Embrace can give Robin's creatures shadow.
That's totally fair.
That's the real combo of Gabe's deck is he can go defensive like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess there's only like a one turn window since it has to attack every turn.
Yeah, Ron, you're right. He should have played Negator post combat. I think he probably realized that after the fact and then kicked himself for it, but it happens.
All right, start howling. Yep.
Ooh.
Was that you or is that early?
I think it was both of us
Yes.
actually. We were in sync.
All right. So this will speed up the clock. Uh, Robin's down to four.
That's a pretty hard creature to deal with, except for Innocent Blood, right? Or a bridge, I guess.
Trying to think if they're Pox.
Yeah,
Well,
Pox would do it.
he can't cast Pox right now. He doesn't have a third black source. um, could he curse scroll and then
Funeral Charm.
yeah.
Yeah, he could.
Oh, there's
There's
an
the plague.
engineer plague. All right. So
He probably named it Dothy or whatever the creature type is.
or whatever the creature type is. Yeah, Tasabu's web has worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
I think we're looking at creature types right now.
Got it.
Let's see what the original just says. Summon soldier. Well, the other one said beast. Dothy horror was a beast. So what is the
He said he's naming Dothy.
okay? So they have been errated to be Dothys.
Yeah.
But the unfortunate thing is, if this is a 2/2, that's still a two-turn clock. Doesn't change the clock.
Yeah.
And Robin is at two. Oh, well, we do see it in the Snaring Bridge.
There's the bridge.
Well, so now this is a spot where you're like,
Spite.
yeah,
Chaotic
spite or drain life. Yep, drain life for two. Or
Yep.
well, also, Robin having 5 of his lands not untapped.
Locked down.
It's not impossible for Robin to draw like 2 3 drops in a row and then just die. Because, so, uh, really interesting. There's no way for like Gabe to make Robin draw cards, right? That would be a cool way to win.
I don't think so. Let me look at his. I'm looking at his list right now.
I don't think so.
No.
All right. Well, there's one card.
There's one.
Maybe Gabe has to get rid of the Bad Moon and then ooh. So this Carrion Feeder is a 2. Oh, they're both 2/2s. Okay,
Yeah, they're
right.
both 2/2s.
Carrion Feeder, not a Dothy.
Oh.
Robin says, "Let me be able to play this card. Let me be able to play this card." He's
It's
got
a rack.
the rack. All right. Well, Gabe's got one card in his hand, so there's a clock now.
This is kind of amazing. Yeah, decides to hold on to that one, not surprisingly. It's not a
Sweat
powder keg. It's probably not playing
Swagahad
it.
MTG, thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome. We're just in a sweet, sweet match between Pox and Dothy Aggro. This is, I mean, Robin's got a chance. All right, he's he's found a land and then a
Pit.
bottomless pit. So his hand is going to stay empty, and Abe's hand is going to whittle away too. All right, a swamp is discarded. So Gabe is looking for
Drain Life, Karavik, Spite.
Powder Keg.
Yeah, powder keg would be great.
How much? He's taken 4 damage so far from
He's
the
at
wreck.
12.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny. Like the Bad Moon is actually not doing Gabe any favors in this spot. He would have been able to probably finish Robin off if he was able to get rid of it. All right, so we're looking for.
We got Anthony in chat. Come on, Spite.
Yeah.
I know. I would love to see it. Gabe pulled it off in the first week, right?
Yes. Yeah, against the Prosperity Balloon.
Against Shawn. It's a it's a wasteland.
Yeah, he's refocusing his camera. I was confused for a second too.
He just wanted everybody to see the beautiful altered wasteland he has there.
All right, Karavek Spite. We're
There
all
it is.
cheering for it.
Spite, 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 spite. We love you, Robin, but spite, spite, spite. Tank Terry won a lot of games with Karavik Spite. Nice. Pretty sweet. Ron, I think, was that during the PSS, the first one? When Ron did that? I feel like I saw that happen when it happened, but I don't remember if it was in the
his
PSS.
decks was Stasis, Blue White Stanzo, and Reanimator. So no,
probably not. I remember seeing it. I think it was the month that you ran Suicide Black. Ron,
yeah,
if I remember correctly.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Spite Madness. I don't know how Spite Madness would be crazy, but we have subscription from Alan Hash Browns. Thank you for the Prime subscription.
Sweet. Welcome, welcome.
Do you like hash browns?
I do, but I'm very particular about them. There's keg.
Ooh, well, all right. So you gonna try and tick this up to 3?
Yes.
Is he ever in a spot where he has to do it? Okay, there's an Innocent Blood. This will. I think you want to get rid of the Carrion Feeder. Like the Dothy Horror having the unblockability.
Yeah.
I think is better.
And Robin only has one plague, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess is there another Mishra's Factory? That was why I was saying like you don't want Carrion Feeder.
Yeah.
Also like Nether Spirit is another reason. So
Yep.
Gabe is taking 3 damage from.
Yeah, looks like he's down to 9.
This is kind of where it's kind of. Oh, but the powder keg's already at 1. So I think he will be okay.
There's another rack. Now, let's see. He's gonna take, let's see, 1, 2, he's gonna take 4 damage a turn.
Well, he can now. He can just nugget. I think you use the powder keg now, and just get rid of the racks. Yep. So now he's not taking any damage. The carrion feeder does die though. That's awkward. But Pascal Maynard, thank you for the subscription. We appreciate it.
Hey, awesome.
All right, so Gabe now has a lot more time, but I mean, I still feel like Gabe's favored in this position, even though he doesn't even have a creature in play.
How does he get rid of the bridge?
Yeah, I think he just draws a burn spell.
You just wait for a drain life or a spite.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we saw him discard a drain life earlier, and then we see a Mishra's Factory. White Faces, thank you for the follow. So,
Decides not to untap Carnophage, unsurprisingly.
yes, that seems
Good
wise.
play. Good play.
Ron Diggity, thank you for the subscription. Thanks, Ron.
So Robin just plays Cabal Therapy here. He's just getting cards out of his hand.
Yep.
Playing what he's drawing here.
What card?
Drops another factory.
What card do you name? This is important.
It's always Hunted Wumpus.
Always Hunted Wampus?
Well, I guess only when your opponent misdirects.
Yeah.
Right? Right, Mike?
Yeah, well, that's what I chose.
I remember.
Yeah. I'm sure I've named other cards. But yeah.
That's always going to be my go-to now. I thought that was so random, but awesome.
Ron gifted a tier 1 sub to looks like Always Be
Anthony.
Juggling. So thank you, Ron, for the gifted sub. We got some
nice guy.
We got a sub train, hype train going. Appreciate all the support, everyone. All right, so where are we at? We're looking through the graveyard. I think Gabe's considering like how many cards he has. So there's a second Ensnaring Bridge in play, which I mean doesn't really do any more than the first because Powder Keg takes them both out, and so it's just so. Spinning Darkness doesn't hit black creatures, and it only hits creatures. It doesn't hit players.
Correct.
Oh, but I guess you're saying if it would hit like. Yeah, because Robin would be able to like activate his Mishra's Factory. But I don't think Spinning Darkness is in the deck anymore.
Yeah, I think you board it out. That's such a fringe moment.
Plus,
it's worth keeping it in.
Plus, the Drain Life or Karavek Spite, I think you'll still be able to kill through a Spinning Darkness. I think you'll be able to deal 5 or more damage with both those. We see a Nantuko Shade. So basically, I think this comes down to Gabe drawing a burn spell compared to the more racks coming down, right?
And yeah, rack is the card that Robin wants more than anything else in his deck right now.
Does he have 3 or 4 racks?
Robin, I would assume 4, but let me look. Yeah, he's got 4.
Okay.
The card that Robin could get is his other powder keg, and he could destroy the web and then have access to all of his factories.
Yeah, I mean the Snaring Bridges are in play, but I guess he kind of controls when those attack.
Yep.
Okay, just swamps from Gabe. This is some draw go action. Oh, wait, he's at 1? How did
Pox? He played a Pox.
Oh, okay. So then, that's a 6, not a 9.
Gabe's at 6. Yeah.
Well, Pox is off the table now. That could be a card.
No more Poxes.
Rob, I guess if he drew it, then the next turn he would just discard it to Bottomless Pit. So, all right, we see a powder keg from Robin. So he might be able to pull this one out.
Yep.
Though, well, I guess blowing it up on 2 would blow up the Nantuko Shade as well. So here we see the Dark Ritual being discarded.
Yeah. And Gabe draws another card and is looking at it. I mean, the Dark Ritual is really like the only card in his deck. Maybe he doesn't play. Maybe it's another Bad Moon. That's a feeder.
Well, that one could be interesting. Like if he, so if Robin drew Pox, but then like Gabe would have to draw like a Dothi Embrace because they're still at Mishra's Factory. I guess it's 2/2. Oh, there's a Karavak Spite. There it is.
Oh,
All right, he found
spite,
one.
spite, 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 spite.
All right. It took Gabe.
Yes,
It took Gabe like 12 draw steps, but he finally found one. I don't know if
we got there.
I think you bring in more, so I don't think it's the only one. All right, so
Oh
we're
man.
we're going to a game 3.
I'm surprised Gabe doesn't have like a meme for that as well, like he does for Joggle Hops.
Boom goes the dynamite. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, sweet. We're getting to game 3, folks.
All right,
Awesome.
let's jump over to the deck list. Let's see. We saw Ensnaring Bridge come in. We saw Engineered come in. Is there a card we saw less of? Hard to tell. I mean, we didn't see Spinning Darkness. I have to imagine that one was gone. But I mean, I think Pox might be the other card. Maybe we didn't see Scalding Tongs. I don't know. I don't know. Can you cut like
maybe he
a
took
can
out
you
a
cut like
box
a
or two.
wasteland? Does because you could probably cut a wasteland, right?
Yeah, you could. How many lands does he have in his deck? I know you just switched
Yeah,
it over. So, all
yeah, I
right,
don't know.
12, 16, 20. He's got 20 in the deck. And well, he's got 22 actually with the pit. So maybe, yeah, maybe you shave a wasteland.
And we saw the Saba's
So
Web. We
okay,
saw the kegs. We saw
saw
a
spite.
Spite, but there's one in the main. There's one in the main, right?
Is there a spite in the main?
I think there is.
I don't think that there
I
is.
think there's one in the main to the board. Look at the text list.
Okay.
That's what I remember.
There is not.
Oh, really?
Nope.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. We saw that he kept in negators as well, right? So what did
Hmm.
he take out? Did he take out like the ghouls maybe? No,
Well,
I
we
mean
saw some of
we
those. He
saw a
might have just
ghoul.
shaved, but the vendettas, and we saw one Dothi Embrace, so it could have been two vendettas, two Dothi Embrace. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
All right.
All right. So while we're waiting, ladies and gentlemen, folks in general, don't forget Spring Fling is coming up. So sign up if you haven't. I mean, we'll have sure Mike will show the slide on the intermission, but just want to promote that a little bit more
Yeah,
in
Flynn, have
case
you
you can't
signed
stick
up? Have you
around.
signed up for the Spring Fling?
Didn't you sign me up? Because
I didn't
aren't
sign you
you
up.
like? But you built my deck, right?
Yeah, I built your deck. I didn't sign you up.
Ah, man, I actually have to sign up.
Yes.
All right, fine.
I forgot to mention the results of the poll. We had I think you mentioned it, but the majority voted for Gabe over Robin. They were thought that Dothy aggro would take down the Pox. I think this matchup actually, I think if he played it out, would be. I wonder how often it would go really long like that, like it did, like in the sideboard games. That was really interesting.
Yeah. Do
All
you think he
right.
brings the stasis back in?
He kind of did have a stasis. He had the Tasabo's web. That's his black stasis. So it
That's right.
even draws a card. So and it allows his creatures to still attack. So I think it's the true stasis that Gabe wants. I think like if we talk about like allies, like Gabe has Karavek and he has Tasabu on his side. Is there anyone on Robin that's? I guess he has Mishra, right? Mishra's factory. So
He does have Mishra.
are there other legends of the game that are on his side?
He's got the Cabal with him.
Okay. But Gabe has Cabal Therapy in his sideboard. I don't. Maybe that's more of like an insult, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna help out Robin even more." Then
Maybe. He's got Tormod.
okay,
Tormod's not going to be helping out very much here, though. I
yeah.
don't think.
I mean, like it wouldn't be a card to bring in, but like it technically does something. There's like a Necrotic in this deck, so
That's true. That's totally true.
when you played Zombies in the month, you got slaughtered by Pox. It seems like zombies should beat up on pox. Like cards like Rotling Reanimator would be really problematic for it. You should draw more Rotling Reanimators.
Yeah, come on, Mike. Draw more reanimators. Joke time. What does Braid's Cabal Minion do for fun?
Um,
Uh,
something with sacrifice. I don't know.
he's out in the Cabal pit. Um,
Murder.
murder.
there's just
That seems legit.
there's just like no real punchline. It's just murder.
She jumps into the sea ball cabal
Cabal
pit.
pit.
Hey.
There you go. I feel like you are like 75% of predicting the correct answer of those jokes. But
It's because I only respond to the ones that I think I know.
okay.
Proves my my percentages. All right, so they're looking at him, but
Braid
Robin's on the play.
Braids is super sweet. This card's awesome.
Yeah, really cool card. All right, and we're off.
All right,
Ritual.
Dark Ritual.
Ned Flanders. So we see another spirit start to come down, and then he's a little shy. Oh, he's back. All right, another spirit.
That seems really good.
Yeah, solid.
Do you think that indicates that? I'm trying to think that it says anything like about Robin's hand. Like, does that mean he doesn't have lands? I mean, I guess not. He's getting aggressive here. All right, he'll attack.
Carrion Feeder ain't blocking, and neither's the spirit.
Interesting.
Is that another ritual?
Looks like it. Robin's turboing out. He might be getting his hand size down and gonna. Oh, we have an engineer plague. Named Zombie.
Okay, and Barak.
Nether Spirit is not a zombie, right? It's not
I
been.
think it's just a spirit.
Okay. The one-eyed monster. I guess he might have two eyes.
I always think that he flies because he's up in the tree. It just always throws me off.
If anything, it should be like Reach, right?
Yeah, right.
So there's like a card like Hornet's Nest that should have flying to you because it's in a tree. Things that can climb. Tree Monkey. I guess Tree Monkey can block as though it's flying. Or it can only be. I can't remember.
So we do see the Withered Wretch here, but he runs it out as his solo creature.
It is a 1/1 also.
The Tree Monkey.
Well, no, the Withered Wretch because of the. I mean, yes.
Because of the plague, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
The Zombie Cleric. So I guess if Gabe's able to get rid of that. Now that what do we have for life totals? 16. Okay. Nests don't fly. I agree. So what does Gabe want to do? Is Necrotog a zombie? I guess it's just a Atog.
Good question.
I could see it being like a zombie Atog, but okay, where are we at right now?
It looks like Gabe's at 16, Robin's at 20. We're on Robin's turn still. And he's going to drop another wreck.
All right, Gabe has can't read his die.
5 in hand.
Okay.
He's got 5 in hand. Robin, I believe, is Hellbent.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yep.
Hmm.
So this is where Gabe just plays a disc, right?
Well, this costs 4.
Dark Ritual disc.
All right. That's a card that it's hard to spell. Give me how much leniency does it give me? On card fetcher.
All right. There's your boy, Necrotog.
All right. So this can at least threaten to block the Nether Spirit by exiling the Carrion Feeder. I mean, 4/4, eating the Nether Spirit, and then Abe could untap and exile it, get it gone forever.
Uh,
Oh, this is a
Duress.
duress. We see
Yeah.
Dark Ritual, Negator, Drain Life Swamp, I believe it is.
Take Drain Life here.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's only one Drain Life left. Presumably, there's only one Drain Life left in the deck. We don't know how he boarded. I wonder if after the second game, if he did board it out, he put it back in, just
Yeah,
considering how things went.
given the way the game played out.
Yeah. And Robin elects not to attack there.
I mean, that
He's
makes
gonna
sense.
stay back and play some D. Gabe
When
is in an interesting position here with the 2 racks in play, right?
Yeah. Well, if a bottomless pit is not in play, then I think he's in decent shape. But it's kind of a looming threat.
Yep. I think you at least run out the negator, right? Or no, do you hold it back?
And I think it seems pretty good. Is Phyrexian Negator a zombie? It's a horror.
It's a horror.
There's horror on the original card.
You want me to look it up?
All right, so Necrotic coming in. So there was an option there for like Robin to, I guess blocking with Nether Spirit and Mishra's Factory is not very appealing. So 2 damage will come across. So at least Gabe is chipping in some damage.
It is a horror.
Okay.
Straight up.
So this allows the Nether Spirit to attack for 2. Gabe can't block because his Withered Wretch is a 1/1. So who do you think gets the advantage by if they trade 2 damage for 2 damage? Who do you think that benefits more?
I don't know. I mean, with those with what's in play right now, probably Gabe, because he can just alpha strike at some point, but by the time the game gets to that point, you know Robin's going to be drawing other things.
Okay. So this
Like
Carnophage,
Bad
I
Moon.
think, just wants to die. Like, because it is only a 1/1. But we see a Duress take out a Bad Moon. Interesting that Bad Moon wasn't played. I guess it makes the Nether Spirit bigger, but it makes all your black creatures another just bigger relative to Mishra's Factory. All right, so he did pay a life. Okay, so Gabe's at 12. And what does Robin go down to? Right. Robin have him at 19?
Robin's at 19. No.
I had
Robin
him at
is at
18. Did he? I thought he took 2. Was there
I,
a
he
Gabe?
took one from the Necrotog, right?
Oh. Well, is it a zombie then? Why wouldn't he have taken 2? Is it base 2? Or is it a base 1 too?
I think it's a 1-2.
Oh, I was thinking it was a 2 2. That would be my. Oh, it is a 1 2. Okay.
You were so busy just getting lost in his sweet big red eyes that you didn't pay attention to
I
his
guess
power and
are
toughness.
all the Togs base 1 power? Are they all like 1/2s? I guess that probably makes sense. I think they all are.
I think Chronotog is
Oh,
bigger.
Chronotog might be like a 1/3. And 4 a Tog I think is a 2 2. Alright, so never mind. What set is Chronotog from?
Either Tempest or Stronghold, I want to say, or no, maybe
Visions?
Visions.
Visions.
Visions. I think it's Visions.
Alright, I'm losing focus. Okay. Uh where are we at for life total? So Gabe is at 9
Mm-hmm.
and 16 is what Rum's at.
Robin's at.
So
Yep.
the Carnophage is in the graveyard, which I think is probably where Gabe prefers it to be almost. It's almost a liability. Yeah, a
Yeah.
Tagatog is a 5/5.
I opened a foil Atagatog back in Odyssey.
Were you excited about it or disappointed?
I actually was. I thought he was a cool card. I
Yeah.
didn't think he was competitive, but even for Friday Night Magic, but I thought it was really cool. I still have it.
Yeah. All right, so the Necrotog is just chipping away. That's a bottomless pit, right?
It is. Also, it's worth noting that Gabe did play an Entuco Shade, which is pretty solid.
He only has he has four. Okay, I was say he only has two lands to play, but that's not the case.
Yeah,
But when these start going down, if he has three cards in hand, he's gonna start taking damage from the rack. There's two of them in play.
yep,
All right, Negator is discarded. And he never opted to play that, right? Like he had multiple turns and he just never.
he just decided not to. Yeah,
Interesting. So I feel like the damage, like if I guess Robin could like blocking with Mistress Factory would make him sacrifice a lot of permanents. All right, that's fair. We see the Necrotog and the Nantuko Shade coming in, so this is kind of a nice card because if Gabe doesn't really want to play other spells because he wants to keep them in his hand, so he's taking less
yep,
damage to the rack, at least he's able to use his mana every turn then. This is actually a good clock. And there's
yeah.
two creatures. It's a Negator and a Carnophage. The other two, it looks like, that are in the graveyard are spells.
That's correct. The other two
So,
are Bad Mood and Drain Life.
so the Necrotog could get 5 power, and then Nantuko Shade could be 6. So it's potentially 11 coming through here.
Yep.
Are you blocking here if you're Robin?
It just depends. Like, I wonder if Robin has. So Gabe's at 7, right? And he has how many in hand? 2?
I think he
No,
has
he has.
3. I think he had
He's 3, but he's
3
gonna.
discarded and then drew a card. Oh,
But he'll dis.
is there a Dark Ritual under there? Is there like an extra card?
I think it's Dark Ritual and 2 others.
Okay, okay.
So he'll discard a card. He'll take 2 damage. He'll go to 5. So Robin is thinking, do I want to swing him with both creatures? And then, do I play another rack? Do I have a funeral charm in my hand to pump? Like, is there a way that he can win, right? In the next turn, I think is what he's trying to figure out. Because if there is a way that he can win, then I don't think he blocks here.
Like Gabe.
Do 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 do. I can see the Necrotog, humming that song while he's chewing on his bones.
I try to think what Robin's hand motions. It seems like he's not just thinking, unless he's just kind of like verbally thinking out loud and moving his hands around. Well, Gabe is making his creatures dance, so
Yeah,
'cause I think we're waiting for Robin
to decide how if and how he's going to block. Yeah.
yeah, just some of his mannerisms didn't make it seem like he was in total focus, so that was the unusual thing. All right. I mean, so if you don't block, I think Gabe would exile one creature. I think you always kind of want to keep one in there because otherwise, Necrotog is just the threat of a 1/2. And I think I just tap out. If you give the opportunity, I think you want to deal as much damage. Also, if you can ever get Robin to 5, that seems really good too. So if I guess that would be a reason to exile both creatures because like the Nintuku Shaker could be 6, Necrotog could be 5, so it could be 11. That would put uh, Robin to 4. Yeah, because if Gabe didn't exile both, then he would be at 6. But it looks like we have a block from a Mishra's Factory. So I'm guessing this is blocking the Necrotog, right? Because I think exiling a creature is more of a cost than just using your mana. Would you agree? Or maybe I
Yeah.
mean, maybe he's afraid of taking 6 damage from a Nantuko Shade.
Yeah.
Because it look okay, so it looks like Gabe is pumping twice. So I'm guessing the Nantuko Shade is blocked by Mishra's Factory. Oh, maybe not.
Yes.
Well,
I
I think
I
you,
I
you
you pump. I think you pump at least
yeah,
three
you
times, right?
you pump twice, and then
Twice,
you
and then if
yeah
he
yeah
pumps, then
pumps
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
pump by the third time. Okay,
So he's gonna
exile
eat two
Negator.
creatures.
Okay, so he used them both. So 5 damage coming through.
Okay. So
Maybe
now Robin's in a tougher spot.
maybe Gabe's hand is Dark Ritual, Karavak Spite, Karavak Spite. Or is it like a do you discard as part of the cost?
I don't know if discard is. I know it's you certainly sacrifice all your permanents,
Or is it part of the resolution?
but and it's an instant as well. So I guess you
Yeah,
could spite them. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think you could still do it.
I'm not 100% sure. It's part of a cost, so I don't
It's
think
cost.
you can't cast two.
Nope. Alas,
All right, well, bottomless pit discarding a creature is actually good for Gabe.
super relevant.
Gabe takes two from the
He's at 5.
yep, but I
Does
mean,
Robin have any cards in his hand?
I don't think so. Did he just play another swamp? Wait, oh, he played another Mishra's Factory.
Another
I'm like,
Mistress Factory,
I'm
yeah.
like, where did that Mishra's Factory come from? All right, these guys are coming in again.
Yes, they are.
Also, we might get to the point where, like, if Robin is able to live, like Robin can start attacking, and then it's kind of awkward for Gabe to block. All right, we see an exiling of the Dothy.
He only has to pump twice though, right? Because the factory is summon.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. Robin, I think Robin helped him out. All right.
So
So
that's 3 damage.
7-5.
I think so. And Gabe has 3 cards in hand.
So he's gonna go down to 3 next turn.
Mm-hmm. That's barring like no card like Funeral Charm or Pox or I mean Pox would just win here, right? Because Gabe would lose,
Another bottomless pit. So
well,
that'll put Gabe to 1.
right? All right, so it's got to be this turn, right? That Gabe wins, right? And
Yeah.
Robin can block. Okay, he's discarding a negator and he's discarding a creature. So I
Oh
think I
wow.
think Robin's just dead then, right? Because
I
if you
think
just
he's
attack
dead.
attack with
He's got
everything,
his, yeah. He's got to alpha. He's got to swing with the team.
yeah, you have to attack with a Withered Witch, right?
Wow. Yeah. Swing with all 3. Gabe, turn the wretch sideways. Gabe,
Yep.
you're gonna die next turn.
Now he
Swing.
now he doesn't win, right?
Why is he not swinging with the wretch?
I don't know. Because this is
Does he have? Did he just draw Karavek Spite or something? Is that what it is? Like he's just slow rolling everybody.
uh, one,
1,
two.
2.
That's
5
5
damage.
damage.
So he goes to 2,
Well,
which is the power of the.
well, if it were even if you attack with a Withered Witch, and he'd be attacking for 6, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it wouldn't kill him either way.
What? Funeral Charm.
Make him discard.
Yeah. A dark ritual. No, but he had it, right?
No. Well, oh,
Gabe had it. What
he
if he
could
would
have
have swung
played.
with the wretch?
Oh, he could have played Carrion Feeder, and then sacrificed creatures, and then they both would have been lethal. Because he could have sacrificed the Withered Wretch and the Carrion Feeder,
Oh
and then
no.
and if he blocked the Necrotic, then he had the Dark Ritual, and that would have been enough, right? Because
Yeah.
one mana would have been tapped. He had 4 lands. Then he would have used 3 plus -1, 5. Yeah, the Shade would have been 7 power, or the Necrotic would have been lethal. All right, let's jump in and listen to these players.
Okay.
everything down. Keg, yes, ensnaring bridge is annoying, but you have 2 spies and 2 drain life, right?
Yeah.
And then you even have Withered Wretch against how good Nether Spirit is against you. So I think it's a very tight matchup where it comes down to like tiny plays, and I'm sure we both misplayed like several times.
Well, we clearly did. But no, so again, like I think.
Well, ignoring game one, let's ignore game one because we both clearly forgot what the rules of the game are in game one. But
we both got stasis, I think.
Yeah, we both got stasis out of that game. But yeah, it's just like, God, there was a lot of choices to make. Usually when you play Pox, it's pretty like, yeah, I'll kill your shit and I'll shoot you a few times to start your hand. But like the turn 1 ritual into 2 dudes is already pretty harrowing. Like you can fill the board so fast, and I don't have any sweepers, you know? Like I put it in Engineered Plague just because, honestly, like, okay, you have how many zombies? You have 4, 8, 12 zombies, but I boarded it in because I wanted to name Shade. Because the Cuckoo Shade is so damn good. Like it kills me so fast, right?
Sure.
But I had to take the opportunity and kill the Carrion Feeder, and obviously that was part of what won me the game here because I turned your Wretch into a 1/1.
Yeah, and the Feeder, you mean in game 3? Yeah.
Yeah, in game.
Yeah, and the Feeder
like, turning your Wretch into a 1/1 there
could have squeaked in for that extra damage.
Exactly. No. So I obviously that was the right play, but it says a lot about how afraid of Shade when I was like, I really was hoping to just name Shade because that guy hits hard and fast, and it doesn't give me much time to think. Necrotic, though, I feel like there will be a Necrotic buyout soon after this stream.
I think Necrotic is really good. I really do.
It's horrifying to play against. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's
so
funny.
in testing, I had a whole lot of like, what the hell just happened kind of wins.
Yeah.
Right? Where like, because if you have the Necrotic and the Feeder or the Ghoul out, you can sack to pump on the way out and then sack to pump on the way back. And like, I mean, that's a sack to pump the Ghoul or the Carrion Feeder, and then just exile those same cards to pump the. So you get like double
it's a 2-card Psychotog in a weird sense.
Yeah. And like I was saying, I think the you guys have us unmuted, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they definitely.
What I was saying to him before, I think like there's an argument to be made that the ATOGs that do one thing for +2/+2 could be better than the ATOGs that do the 2 things for +1/+1.
I mean, you've certainly made a strong point for Necrotic, and it makes me happy because I will. I wouldn't say plug. I'll mention a tournament that is already running. I'm playing a Mirage Block tournament with the Sisters of the Flame, the New York Old School crew, and I'm playing Prismatic Black with 2 Necrotogs in my deck. So I'm really excited about that now. I'm gonna eat some folks. That card is exciting.
If there's other ways to fill up my graveyard, like a Hermit Druid maybe or something, just dumped a bunch of creatures in, kind of like what Andy's deck did.
Yeah.
Where it's like you still have basics, like a fair Hermit Druid deck. I feel like that can make it even better because then you just dump your yard full of creatures and you can just zip them out.
Yeah, I mean, even making the deck, like Drain Life was good here. I don't personally think Drain Life is like great in that deck, maybe. Like, but I feel like your creature count is pretty damn high. It could go slightly higher even, making Necrotic even more scary.
I kept the Drain Lives in because they're sort of like Spite's number -1
They're super important here because you're never going to win through Ensnaring Bridge without Drain Life and Spite, right? Like we saw in game 2. It was just like, I was just digging frantically for a Rack or a Curse Scroll, and you were digging frantically for a Burn Spell. So I'm sure Chad enjoyed watching us go draw a goal for 10
Was that like the most boring 10 minutes of Magic?
No. It was really interesting. But I do want to ask a quick question. Plus, you guys are kind of over time, so we'll have to wrap this up quick. So that last turn, Robin, you were at 7, right?
Yeah.
So, Gabe, if you in your hand was Carrion Feeder and Dark Ritual.
Yeah.
So if you just play the Carrion Feeder, it dies.
Sure.
Then you have,
my God, you're right.
And then you have 3 mana.
You're right.
You attack you attack with everything, and then you can.
Yeah.
And then
wait, how does the ritual come into play?
The ritual pumps the Shade.
So I can pump it to the Necrotic.
So the Necrotog, you
Yeah.
have to block the Necrotog because of the creatures in the graveyard, right? Because there were how many creatures?
No, you're 100% right. Of course.
And
There
then
would have been 3 at that point, I believe.
or
That's
the
what it's actually-
or the extra point from like the Withered Wretch.
So he could, so
Oh my
Necrotic would have been
God.
set. Okay, so
I
he
wish
would have
you
had
would've
2
told me
leads.
that.
Yeah,
And
he would have had 2 leads of threat. That's true.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, it would
When
have
I
been
can't
game.
sleep, can I just message you in the
Yep.
morning?
Yep, that's fine.
Oh my God. You see what he's saying, Robin, right?
Well, I'm sorry for I actually need to leave for the other place, but I'm sorry for taking so much time. This was, like I said to Gabe, like one of the most intricate
Yeah.
matches I've played in a long time.
Yeah.
100%.
That's why you had me 10 minutes. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. So I had to do the math when he attacked. I knew he had the ritual in hand, right, which made it even more complicated. So it was just a whole mess of combat math.
He got me scared of the rack, Mike, is what it is.
Yeah.
I was just so scared of getting racked. I didn't want to play any cards.
Sure.
So
Well, I mean, rack is really good against you, but we saw in game 2 that you have your ways around it. You have the power kicks.
Yeah. No, but you're right. You're right. I could have just let the carrion feeder die, and then 100%.
Well, so in game's defense, the turn before, there was one turn where I had a net sprint in play, right? It was the turn I dropped the second factory after I'd jumped with the first one after the 10-minute turn. Gabe goes, "Do you want to attack?" I was paranoid, like, shit, what can he draw? Like, what if he has a drain life for the Nether Spirit? At least that's a drain life. I don't know what I was afraid of. If I just attacked there, I think he would have been dead that turn.
Probably because you got me on the crackback the turn earlier.
He went to 1 that turn, right?
Yeah. No, I went to 2. 2 or 1, I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have to watch the replay. I think if I had played that correctly, he might have been dead that turn anyway. So his misplay might not have mattered if I didn't misplay.
By the way, his reaction to stasis was not what I had hoped for.
What was it?
No, what was it?
It was just like,
I
wait,
went to
what?
the deck list. I went to the deck list and thought, did I misremember his decks?
It wasn't like the screaming of agony that I was hoping for.
Next time. You get him next time. All right. Well, we gotta get you guys out of here and get the next players in. But
Awesome
those
games,
are
Robin.
great games to watch.
Yep.
Really, really, really good.
It was super fun to play.
Congratulations, Robin. You've finally have a win against Gabe in a tournament setting. So
My first tournament win against Gabe.
Yep.
Ever.
All right. Take care, guys.
all right,
Bye,
bye.
guys.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna get our other players in, so we're gonna take a brief break. We're gonna be back real soon because we already running a little later than we intended, but it was worth it. That match was great. So sit tight, everyone. We're gonna get our other players set up, and then we'll be starting our second match between Shawn and Phil. Okay, everyone, we are back. Thank you for waiting. Let's jump over to our band screen. So we're looking at the matchup between Shawn and Phil. So we'll kind of get this thing going because we know the players are eager to start. And the one highlight of this banned screen is Phil's Esper Zombie Still deck is not banned. This is the first time this entire tournament he has not had this deck banned. So
I'm making a crazy face right now, folks.
yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Phil is going to play this. Shawn's deck that was banned is the unnatural mirror control deck. And then Phil's blue-green Griffin Canyon deck was banned. So over to the decks. Shawn has chosen Prosperity Bloom. So this combo deck looks to put a combination of squandered resources and natural balance, or it could just have Cadaverous Bloom, but then it looks to draw a bunch of cards with Prosperity, and then eventually it will draw a bunch of cards, put those cards into mana, and then point a Drain Life upon you, cast a Drain Life upon you to kill him. So that's the idea of the Pros Bloom deck that Shawn's playing. We saw it, I think it was week 1, and the deck definitely can do some explosive things. If you have the combination of squandered resources and natural balance, it is a very powerful mana engine. So a lot of power in this deck. It does require a number of pieces, so we'll see if that comes into play. The deck that Shawn will be playing against in Phil's hand is the Zombie Esper still. So we are finally seeing this deck in action. And kind of the gist of this deck is if you take a blue-white standstill deck and kind of mix it with a zombie infestation type thing, you've got different things going on. It's all held together with cards like Enlightened Tutor. It just gives you a lot of different options. What's your takeaway from this deck, Flint?
It's pretty good. It's got disruption and counter spells, and it's got an engine with land tax and card draw. I mean, I think there's a reason why everyone's been afraid of it and have banned it. It's nice of Shawn to let Phil play it tonight. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, so let's jump over. Let's get this thing in action. Flint, if you want to let know the players, they can start. We've got, oh no, a sad face from Shawn. Oh no. Shawn has won the die roll. I don't know if the sad face is just an indication that he's mulliganed or if he's just in a bad mood. But Shawn is on the play. All right, it looks like the eyes are going to the bottom and the frowny face goes to his hand. So,
Oh, double mulligan.
all right, polluted delta. That's what we're going to start off with. There we go. All right. And we see a swamp and a duress from Phil. What's in the hand? We have a City of Brass, an island, a Infernal Contract, and a Limdol's Vault. The Limdol's Vault is selected.
Makes sense.
So the Infernal Contract. Only the bold play this card because this is originally from Mirage, I believe.
Which one?
Infernal Contract.
Yes. Yeah, it's Mirage.
It does not come at no price. Black, pay half your life, rounded up, draw 4 cards. So a great way to draw cards, a great way to have your life total. So all right, we see a fetch. Meanwhile, Phil has added a scroll rack and a Mox Diamond to the board. And the scroll rack can give him access to different cards, especially if he has shuffle effects. It is proved most effective.
Quite good with the old land tax.
Yes. Okay, so Shawn's building his mana base. I mean, I guess mulliganing so much, I guess that's hitting land drops is all he really needs to do, I guess, at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I think all the Urza Saga islands are pretty. All right, we got a shuffle with or a scroll rack. I don't remember how many cards were in his hand, so a little bit of shifting going on. So they'll have access to different cards for this turn, and we do see a land tax. This card is very good. It's a
and a standstill.
All right, so all the annoying cards are in play. The full Monty. Land tax, standstill. You name it, Phil's got it. So if Shawn just says like draw go, I guess draw go is awkward if you are playing lands. I mean, at one point, like if Phil I feel like this just could be a bunch of turns of draw go for a while.
Perhaps, yeah.
But yeah, Shawn's not necessarily inclined to play his land drops until, I guess if Phil has this land tax active anyways, then maybe he just is. But yeah, it's always tough to play against land tax. It's tough to play against standstill. I don't think I have played against a deck with both of them in play at the same time. So
I have not either.
yeah, so typically when you play against standstill, you can make 2 decisions. You can say, all right, I can just break the standstill right away and give the opponent 3 cards so that I can resolve my spell or whatnot. Or you can say, I'm going to try and wait this out and build it up so that Phil has too many cards in his hand so that when I do crack the standstill, he's going to have to discard to hand size. Some of the problems though is like even if you put a million gazillion cards into Phil's hand, with a card like Scroll Rack, you're able to kind of, you just get to see so many cards, and then you can keep some safe. You could put some that you don't want to discard, but maybe don't have it want in your hand right away. It just kind of lets you do it all. We see 3 cards getting, excuse me, Scroll Racked. So the land tax is able to trigger. Even if Phil doesn't find lands, he's still able to look and shuffle his library. So 3 more lands. Card drawing engine is online.
Yep, sure is. Doesn't feel great.
How much permission is in Phil's deck?
He's got 2 Arcane Denials and 2 Mana Leaks.
All right, I mean, like that's doable because I mean, if Shawn has a bunch of time to set up a hand, Shawn has duress himself, right?
He has. I don't see it.
Oh, okay.
No,
I was thinking he had duress in the main, but I was say if
he's got 3 in the sideboard.
okay. But Shawn has mana leaks of his own. Is that the card, or did he have arcane denial? And the mana leak against Phil right now, Phil only
He's
has
got-
two
he's got-
lands in play on a Mox Diamond. So
2 Mana Leak.
So theoretically, Shawn could set up a position where he's able to maybe try and do everything in one turn. I guess he needs a lot more lands in play for that to happen, but maybe not necessarily a lot. He would just need like squandered resources and natural balance and a mana leak. So it's not all bad news for Shawn, I guess. The discarding the hand size.
Yeah.
90s MTG, rating with a party of 28. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
We're doing the Premodern Showdown Series, and we have Shawn Sullivan on a Prosperity Bloom combo deck against Phil Nguyen playing Esper Zombie still. So hopefully some of you are familiar with seeing Phil on the 90s MTG stream, so you guys definitely have someone to root for if you're familiar with him. But no offense taken if you're going to root for Shawn or Prosperity Bloom. We won't judge you then. Also, CS Magic Altars, thank you for the follow. I have turned Nightbot off, to at least for the, I think you should be able to spam emotes and it not get mad. So I know the past you've been in the chat and usually come in with some emotes and Nightbot gets mad. I think we've loosened him up, so he is a little more permitting now.
He's getting soft in his old age.
Yeah.
Now that we're in Series 2.
Oh, the Gabe, you're asking about the poll from the first match. The crowd voted for you, but that does remind me I do need to figure out the poll for the second match. So let me pull that up. If you want to make sure everyone is up to speed on what's going on in the match.
Certainly. We're at a bit of a standstill, folks, in case you hadn't noticed. But for those of you who just joining us in the raid right now, basically Shawn on Prosplum is trying to set up a hand that's perhaps a little bit resilient to what Phil's got going on here with the standstill and the land tax and the scroll rack. You know, at some point Phil will have to switch gears and be aggressive. He does have a couple Mishra's Factories in his deck, and we're seeing one obviously on the battlefield right now. So he can start to chip in if Shawn's just going to try to wait to sculpt the perfect hand. The other thing Phil could do is he could get a Sunder at some point, decide to run out some lands, and then Sunder and then Zombie Infestation. But he doesn't need to do that right now. He's in a really good spot.
All right, I'll throw up the poll. It's up for a couple minutes. So let us know who you think is going to win this match. Yeah, I think the Mishra's Factory makes a big difference. Shawn no longer has all the time in the world, kind of.
Nope.
Though with his deck, like taking some chips of damage is not that bad, especially if you're like casting cards like Infernal Contract. You're probably gonna lose like most of that life anyways. So I guess it could be he could be in a worse position, I would say.
Sure. I mean, he's by no means out of this.
All right, we're scroll racking.
Yep.
Hard to tell how many cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's a casual 6.
A million.
Yeah.
I'm voting for
Seems
Shawn
fair.
because he's a spicy meatball that deserves love and affection. All right? I'm sure he'll take it. Spicy meatball. We're all spicy meatballs in this tournament, I guess. This is Premodern Showdown Series.
Indeed. Scoville units are a little higher for some meatballs compared to others, I would say, but definitely everyone's on the spicy meatball spectrum.
Robin is mild spice.
That's good.
It's the long lost Spice Girl.
Robin's some mild paprika.
Okay. We lost our life counters for them.
It looks like 18, maybe for.
Well, I had 17 to 20. But oh yeah, I don't think either player has taken damage unless there was attack from Mishra's factory that I missed. Looks like our poll is in, and the majority are voting that Phil with the Esper zombie still is going to take it down. So we'll see if you guys are right.
All right.
He's just sitting over there scroll racking away, not a care in the world.
Nope. If you're just joining us from 90s MTG, what were y'all playing over there? Was it Legacy tonight? Was it Modern?
They were Modern. I was watching a little bit
Modern.
when I was getting things ready. I was tuning into the stream, so
very nice.
Let me get a link to the deck lists. I can get that for you in a moment.
All right, while you're doing that, not much going on here yet, right? So Phil moving to discard and discarding to squee, just continuing to tax rack. It's worth noting that he did play a 5th land, so unless Shawn plays one here, the land tax will not trigger next turn. But at some point, Phil's got to, sculpt his hand and probably start to move on things. But we'll see what Shawn does here too.
Yeah, I mean, it still doesn't seem that bad of a situation, given that there's just not that much permission in Phil's deck, that Shawn has a reasonable chance of just kind of like forcing a bunch of must counter spells through. So, all right, of all things, a Lotus Petal is going to correct the standstill. It's like a land, but less exciting.
Is he not sacking the standstill?
He's doing it in response. Well, so okay. Yeah, I don't think this exactly works the way that Shawn wants. Because I think what he's trying to do is
get to draw the cards.
Yeah, and then plagiarize. But
yeah, it doesn't work that way.
The plagiarize will trigger, and a second copy of standstill will trigger, and it will sacrifice. So before the plagiarize resolves.
Yep. We can kind of see Phil's hand.
Well, I guess if it's any consolation, it's probably going to change drastically with a scroll rack. So, but yeah, I remember from there was a world tournament and they were talking about playing against standstill, and someone tried to stifle the standstill trigger, but problem is standstill will just trigger again. Okay,
yeah.
Shawn has been buried in card advantage, and I think he conceded to a solitary confinement.
Scoop him up.
So let's move over to the sideboard. Let's see. I have to imagine that Shawn has a few more tools to work with in his sideboard that will give him at least kind of a plan against the sequence that we were at. So Duresses seem good. So I don't know if there's more counter spells in Phil's deck, but like Xanted Swarm is a card. Pernicious Deed seems very good. And then City of Solitude also seems like a card that could come in. Again, it has to do with how much counter magic is in access to Phil's sideboard. But are there any cards that you think don't pull their weight in the main deck?
Um,
I think maybe cards like, I don't know how many you shave, but Elvish Spirit Guide and Lotus Petal, like cards that are built to go off super quick, you don't necessarily need. I don't know if they're as important, like when you combo off, if they're a key piece to get the extra mana boost then maybe you still do it. But because Phil is not a super aggressive deck, I think he's going to give Shawn a couple extra draw steps where I don't think you need the one-shot mana effects as much.
I think I would take out the Plagiarize.
Okay, you think that's just too much?
I think it's too much. It's a 4 mana commitment, and it's probably going to come down to how many like extra counter spells these guys have when Shawn tries to go off. I think I would take those out. I bring in the Duresses and the City of Solitude.
Well, Pernicious Deed, I think, is like the first card I would put in. Maybe Duress, but
Deed's good too, isn't it?
yeah. I guess it's a little
I like
awkward.
Duress a lot.
There's a little awkward in the situations. Is like you can't really play Squandered Resources first because you don't want to lose that one to your own deed. But Pernicious Deed seems like it could be really powerful. All right, let's look at the Zombie Esper still. The sideboard. So what card? Annul seems very powerful. So that's counter magic that might come in. So,
Aura of Silence.
Okay. Seal of Cleansing seems fine.
Disenchant could be good.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot of cards.
So I think you take out Swords of Plowshares. I don't think you can. I mean, you know about a one Xanted Swarm. I don't think you can do. I just think you just say, "I'll take out my." I mean, maybe you could leave one in. I guess like the value of having one is seen because you do have cards like Scroll Rack that could find it, but I don't think. I think anything more than one is a lot. I don't know if you need a card like Solitary Confinement. I mean, I guess it closed out the game there, but you have to imagine that Shawn is going to have a way to deal with it if he goes off.
In.
But
do you keep in Wayfarer if you're Phil?
Interesting. So that's a card we hadn't talked about. It's a creature that if you have less lands, you're able to pay white and tap it to get any land from your deck. Put it in your hand. So it gets non-basics.
It gets Wasteland, which, you know...
It's Mishra's Factory as well. Yep.
Hit some lands of Shawn's, but not many. Just City of Brass, right?
I mean, Shawn's not like an overloaded on non-basics, is he?
Because you've got to run the basics because of natural balance. So I think he has 4 City of Brass, but the rest of his lands are fetches or basics.
Yep.
So I actually don't think that the Wayfarer Wasteland package is worth it in this deck. So then it becomes a question of, do you do it to get the factories just to get pressure on while you hold back counter magic, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like a weaker card, I guess. Yeah, I just don't think that sequence is going to come up very often because there's only 4 City of Brasses for non-basic lands for the Wasteland to target. So it's unlikely that two or more in play. So.
Agreed. Yeah, Gabe, I think in other matchups it might be worth it, but I don't think it's good in this one. Now watch, it's going to happen.
Seems about right. All right, Esper Zombie still has never lost a game in the series. 1-0. Yeah, I agree. It's not bad to keep it in. The floor of it doesn't seem that bad. I mean, like the 1/1 that can get Mishra's Factory seems fine. It just you might say I'd rather have cards like Seal of Cleansing or Disenchant, that are
Aura of Silence.
yeah, maybe a little more impactful.
Yeah.
I guess I like you don't want too many disenchant effects, right? Like it really only hits. I guess there's Cad Bloom and Squandered Resources, so maybe you do.
Aura of Silence is really good against Deed too, because now Shawn has to pay 5 mana to play his Deed.
And then to activate them too, right? Is it? Or
I think it's just 2 more to cast.
okay, all right.
Artifacts and enchantments.
I'm like getting it mixed up with Gloom, I guess. Yeah, okay.
And that's the other thing to remember. And I think Terry brings up a good point. Like for Shawn to go off, he has to have a Squandered Resources and a Cadaverous Bloom in play, right? So
They don't have to be in play. Like you could have Squandered Resources and then Natural Balance, and then cast like a Cadaverous Bloom.
absolutely, I'm just saying he has to have both, right? And a lot of his spells like Prosperity or Sorcery Speed.
I could see a sequence where you're like Squandered Resources, Natural Balance, and then you just have like a Prosperity that's pretty big, and then you play a Cadaverous Bloom, it resolves. You have enough mana to cast like a giant Prosperity. The first one gets destroyed, then you have enough mana and cards to play a second one and like go off. So I mean, technically yes, but I think you can still kind of get around it with the sequence of cards. It makes things trickier for sure for Shawn, but I think it's possible that you can go off with just having a Squandered Resources in play at the beginning of your turn. And then also, I mean, like cards like Duress or what I guess Duress isn't as good against like a Seal of Cleansing because it will already be in play. It won't be in the hand. So I guess Seal of Cleansing will be kind of awkward from Shawn's perspective.
Same with Aura, right?
Yeah.
So good once it's in play.
All right, Shawn's starting off with a Swamp, and I think it'd be like if you have Duress right there, I think it's almost better just to wait. Like I think you want to hold your Duress for
Yes.
a certain time. I think it has more value later than it does right away. So we see a Mox Diamond that pitches an island or a swamp. I can't even tell.
Swamp.
All right, land tax. So interesting enough, I don't know if Phil will make this play, but if Shawn were to not play a land, Phil has the option to sacrifice his Flooded Strand and not find a card to trigger the land tax. But Shawn will play a Lotus Petal. He's going to sack it. He's exiling Elvish Spirit Guide, so he is spending 2 cards to cast a
here.
Pernicious Deed. And yes, the annul comes down, and the island, I guess, will follow. But yeah, that hurts for Shawn when he's using 3 cards to try and cast a Pernicious Deed. And I wonder if Shawn still could have lands in his hand, and he was trying to make that play because he was trying to stay under the land tax, and then deed it away and then play more lands. So now maybe he's debating whether he wants to play more land after that, or he could just have a 1-land hand. I don't know. I can see both scenarios happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Diamond is a card that is pretty pricey. I myself only own one, so yeah, it is a card that is definitely really powerful and can make a lot of the combo decks more consistent or faster.
There's the Wayfarer.
Right? Let's bring that one up. We talked about it before.
I will be right back. Give me 1 sec.
Okay. Flint going dark. Alright. Weathered Wayfarer. So with this, and he obviously has white mana, he cast it with the Mox Diamond. So this can get cards like Mishra's Factory, and in the wasteland that we talked about, or it can get basic lands too. It doesn't just have to get non-basics. But I guess land tax kind of already has you covered for basics.
What did I miss?
Not much. A little bit of shuffling. Right. Phil's keeping the known cards. Just so Shawn doesn't have to jot them down. One thing I feel like a lot of the land tax decks, they do have scroll rack. So it's like I'll write down the lands, and then as soon as they scroll rack, I'm like, well, I don't know anything anymore. They could have anything in their hand. Right, so we see the Weathered Wayfarer getting put to use. Are you going for a Mistress Factory here?
I think so.
Yep, looks like it. Kara, thank you for the follow. All right. So, I mean, from this position, with Shawn like not making his land drops, it seems like it's because I mean he's already triggered land tax, so it's kind of like, all right. I feel like you're kind of not winning that fight anymore. He's already triggered. I feel like the second one doesn't matter as much, and with Shawn not having, well, he's still got some lands in play. So this hand has a Island Prosperity, that a Cadaverous Bloom, and then the Drain Life. So what are you taking here with the duress?
Yeah, probably Prosperity.
Right. I mean, also because we talked about that Phil does have a number of disenchant effects, so like he might not be that afraid of the Cadaverous Bloom. So I think that maybe makes
it's not going to do anything for a while.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that probably makes the Prosperity a little bit more of a appealing target. Amkara, we are playing Premodern, so it is 4th edition through Scourge, and then there's we have our own ban list, and we have this series. It's kind of similar like to the Vintage Super League, but one of the caveats we had was the players are supposed to bring creative decks. So these decks are a little less competitive maybe than we see normally, but they're supposed to be they're going out on a limb to do something cool. And so all the players have brought 3 decks, and then every week when they play, their opponent gets to ban a deck that they can't play, and so then they get to bring one of those 2 decks, and then they play a best of 3 match. So the Prosperity Bloom is what Shawn is playing, and that is a little closer to what is historically been played on the Pro Tour back in the Mirage block days. And then Phil's deck is it's a smashing of other decks. The blue-white Landstill deck is popular in Premodern, and then there are various zombie infestation decks that are played, and he's kind of mashed it together to make this control deck that he's trying out. All right, Elendril, thank you for the tier 1 subscription.
Thanks, Mike.
So what cards is Shawn looking to find here? He's got the Cad Bloom, a Drain Life, and 1 unknown card.
Another deed would be great.
He's only got 1 extra one, right?
I know.
So 1 deed's already gone, and there's no way for him to get the cards back from the graveyard.
I think at this point, if he can't get another deed, a Naturalize might be good to slow down Phil, but even well, I was going to say City of Solitude, but he's not there yet. He needs more lands in play. He needs to be able to do something with that city in the next turn if it doesn't get countered.
Well, right now he can't even cast City of Solitude. But
yeah, exactly. So I think he probably wants. He's not on a huge clock yet. He probably just wants to be drawing some land and just trying to craft a hand, maybe with some. Well, it's going to be hard with another duress here from Phil, but
yeah, basically, if Phil puts like any pressure on Shawn, I think Shawn will be very hard pressed to win. And we do see there's 2 Mistress Factories, so I think this preemptive Seal of Cleansing is I think things are just adding up that Phil is further and further ahead.
pretty rough.
Yeah, that 1-0 on that Pernicious Deed that took out that Shawn had used 3 cards for has really really put Shawn in a tricky spot.
Everybody gets a draw.
Prosperity's fair like that, right?
Yeah.
What's on that platter? I can't really tell.
What are you looking at?
The art on Prosperity.
Oh, it looks like
a little bit of fruit, I guess. I would have expected grapes, but it doesn't necessarily look
yeah,
like
I can't really
grapes.
tell.
I'm off on the life totals. Looks like Shawn is at 19. Is that just attacks from the? Oh no, there was a Pluto Delta. I think it did it. So is this? Oh, the Weathered Wayfarer is attacking now.
Mhm.
So if he's not attacking with the Mistress Factory, so this is Sunder, right?
Yeah, it is.
So this is more of a key card in one of the other decks that Phil built, but here it's just a tempo play. Phil is going to make Shawn pick up 4 lands, and Phil's going to put down a Mistress Factory. And I think I think this is just like a tempo play, which not necessarily what I think it's normally meant to be played in combination. I think with Zombie Infestation.
Yep.
And especially there's only 1 copy in the deck, so I think a lot of the time is the idea is you're kind of at parity or something. You have a Zombie Infestation in play. You're able to scroll back in the turn and then play Sunder and pick up 5 to 6 lands and then make a number of zombies that is just an overwhelming board position. But here, the tempo play is kind of interesting. So the Mistress Factory beats with the Weathered Wayfarer. So we're in aggro mode. So that was 3. I'm guessing
15.
Yep, I'm guessing this turn it'll be for 4 because of oh no, it could be for 5 because there's the Mox Diamond.
Yep, 2 Moxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here comes the team. 3 turn clock.
Yep. Right. Don's just playing lands and go, so the Wayfarer beatdown. I guess Mistress Factory are doing all the real work, but
yeah.
Well,
but you know the Wayfarer. You know the Wayfarer is going to take credit, though, right?
Yeah, we will give the Wayfarer the credit on this one. All right, so it's now or never for Shawn, pretty much. Because I guess Pernicious Deed would be the only other card that interacts really. I'm trying to think other. I guess there are naturalizes in the sideboard that potentially could take out a Mistress Factory and then let him live a turn, but okay, Squandered Resources. There's hope. There's a glimmer of hope. There's a mana leak. I think the hope is fading. Elvish Spirit Guide? No.
And it looks like he's just going to show his hand and give him up.
All right, so the Tempo Sunder was enough to put Phil ahead, and then he just came in with some Mistress Factory and the Weathered Wayfarer. So let's jump over to our player screen. We'll listen to the players, hear what they thought of the match.
I think that deck is pretty good. I really got steamrolled last week, so I don't know. The Bant Counter Slivers deck that Andy has is very good. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure I know.
Advice.
Yeah.
Since I'm up against him next week.
But yeah, it's I hope I get another chance to play that deck because I think it's better than it looked last week. But who knows?
Yeah, I hope so. I think it does look pretty good. It just has like a ton of answers. I was like looking through it and like I feel like for every one of my decks you would have had like 10 answers. It's probably basically the same as this matchup,
pretty
just
much,
like
I think.
duress and counters and wastelands.
Yep.
And
Yep, there's
Yeah.
just a lot of action to throw at the other player. Whereas my other two decks, I mean, the other one, probably the better deck is the Turbos V deck because it at least has counter spells, so I can at least try to interact with you somehow.
Yeah.
But this deck, I want to win a game with Frostbloom, so that's kind of my quest for the rest of this thing. I probably will play it every match.
Yeah, I think I'm
so.
Yeah, I'm probably in a similar page. If anyone unbans this deck, I still probably won't play it. I mean, like, I think it's a good deck, but like, I don't think anyone's gonna be like, wow, seeing it play.
Yeah, like you won, right? Like you got to get a deck full of good cards, and you won. Good job.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was just like in that first game when I'm just like literally scroll racking for 7 a turn. I'm not sure anyone was like, this is amazing.
Right.
I was probably the villain, so I don't really want to do that again.
Anyway,
do you guys have us? Do you have us
unmute in case they're
let's do it.
tuned back in?
All right. I haven't muted them on my end.
Hey guys.
Too. Hey.
The only thing that we're upset about is that the Esper Zombie still was the first Sunder deck to take a victory.
and never got to actually use a zombie either.
Yeah. I do like the tempo Sunder play. I thought that was really cool. Not the intended use of Sunder, I'm guessing, in this deck. Usually it's probably more in conjunction with the zombie infestation, but I think it was the right play at that time.
Yeah, I mean his deck is obviously like a very cool deck. Some of my friends have brewed with it in the past, and you definitely need like a critical mass of mana and land available. So
yeah, for sure.
Sunder was like basically a 2 or 3 turn time walk.
Yeah, and I had the Pernicious Deed play at the beginning. I think that was probably like really seriously like the turning point for this deck was not being able to make that work. Because I had it on turn 1 also, and so it was like this question of when should I, because I could have played it on the play and you can't counter it or anything like that, but I had to spend a Lotus Petal and a Spirit Guide to do it if I play it turn 1, and then he led on on Diamond Plains land tax on his turn 1, and so I was like, oh well, now I don't want to play an extra land now and turn on his
Sure.
Anyways, I think that was I needed to resolve that because after that I didn't have any fast mana. It was just land go and hope I survive long enough. So
yeah, that card seems pretty key in the matchup, and it was really unfortunate that you not only that it got countered, but that you put in those extra resources to try and cast it.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the other thing too is I boarded out 2 of my drain lives, so I was Mark Justicing it a little bit there when he duressed me on that like turn 2 duress or something, and I have my only drain life sitting in my hand. But luckily there's a prosperity and a bloom there. I'm like, just don't take the drain life. Just don't take the drain life because I don't have any recursion either.
Did you
Elvish Path.
Did you sweat a little? Did you sweat a little?
Oh, for sure, a little bit. But this is the nice thing of a webcam, right? Is that, like, no one can tell that I'm over here like shitting my pants. Eventually got it. I kept playing, but once he took that out of my hand, the game was over.
Bill, did you consider Drain Life at all?
I did. I think I had like another duress in hand, and so I was like, I can wait. My opening hand was pretty good. It was literally just like a land, a Mox Diamond land tax, and then I had a Null, Seal of Cleansing, and Disenchant. So no matter like when you played the Pernicious Deed, it was going to be answered anyway.
There was nothing to do there, I guess.
All right, Shawn, I have a question. Let's say he takes that Drain Life with the duress. Do you keep playing? Do you try and say, do we have to play this out? Is that what the line you would have gone for?
yeah. Well, and he did eventually duress it. I didn't try to bluff him because I think that was like I had no action other than that. But
it's pretty much just academic at this point, you know.
Right. I mean, I could draw all these cards and like we could do it, but
no, it's all about the Elvish Spirit Guide beatdowns. You know, those are 2/2s. That's bigger than the Weathered Wayfarer.
Yeah, it's the series, and Phil's a brewer, so he'd probably be like, "No, I want to see it. I want to see you do it." And,
and then I'm like sitting here with my whole deck in my hands. I'm like, okay, there's no Drain Life.
I'd love it. So good. But yeah, it was fun to try out this deck, during the league, and so he was kind enough to let me pilot it once. But I think at some point I might take it through a monthly. But I think it's pretty good. Has a lot of good answers.
Yep.
I like that deck a lot. Like, so Zombie Infestation, the red black version was the first deck I played in Premodern, and so it's just like to me it's a super fun card, and you get all these little extra bonus things like this, Solitary Squee. Like sometimes, like a lot of extras fold to that. Like, oh, I actually can't deal with that. And I really like mixing in the blue stuff and getting the scroll rack in there. It's very nice synergy with the infestation. So it's a really cool deck. I think Phil did a really nice job with it.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I was joking when I posted about this in the Facebook group, but it like features like 5 or 6 of the top 11 pre-modern cards in it, so it has to be good, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, between like swords and duress and land tax and scroll rack and lion tutor, and standstill, of course, it just has like so many good cards in it that like there's such a high density of answers and threats.
Yep. And you guys maybe caught this on stream. I don't, but the game 1, I thought I was being clever by playing Lotus Petal to trigger the standstill, and then I was going to plagiarize in response and then steal the draws.
Yeah.
That would have been so good.
He was probably going to counter it anyways, I figured, but I had to do something. But anyways, it doesn't work like that, I guess.
yeah. We figured that out once those cards came in conjunction. Yeah, but yeah, unfortunately, that's not how it works. Standstill triggers again, and so
yeah,
we felt bad for you.
We
wanted it to work for you, but
let's pretend in another universe it did work for me.
Yeah, yeah, and unfortunately, Scroll Rack doesn't draw cards. It just puts them in your hand. So that would be really savage.
I looked that up while we were playing because that would be such a blowout if it worked that way.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
that'd be incredible.
It doesn't do that. So I thought when I first drew the plagiarize when he had Scroll Rack on the board is when that thought crossed my mind. But sad. Nope, not in this particular universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll be cheering for this deck for the remaining weeks, which everyone should definitely tune in for, because I think like Pro Swim is like just so historic and like such a key part of Magic's history that like for any combo player, it's like such a joy to see it go off. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and so game 1 would have been close. I think because he had a duress, I think it wouldn't have worked out for me. But I had my opening hand was like a City of Brass, a Forest, a Swamp, 2 Cadaverous Blooms, and Natural Balance, and maybe one other card. Actually, I think it was a Prosperity. And then I didn't have, but it wasn't really fast. Like I didn't, you don't want to just like play a land go until you like Natural Balance for 1 land and like just doesn't do anything. But the top card of my deck was a Squandered Resources, so I would have been able to play turn 2 Squandered Resources, turn 3 Natural Balance into Cadaverous Bloom, and then hopefully a Prosperity would have enough mana at that point to do something. But his duress, if he was, he would have probably taken my Natural Balance out of my hand there because I had 2 blooms, or the Prosperity. Either of those would have made it not go off. So I'm glad he duressed me. Turn 1 there.
Yeah, it was a interesting match, but maybe we'll catch some casual webcam games after, not on stream, because I'd love to face against it again.
Yeah, I feel like there might be a number of opportunities because there's not that much permission out of Phil's deck that Shawn could sneak in some cards before kind of shop gets set up for Phil, and then you could just combo off. So I think things get both your decks get better after a sideboard, but like there are a lot of cards that Phil brings in, like the Annuls and Seal Cleansings, the Aura Silence and whatnot. Those all seem really good against you, Shawn.
Yep. Yeah, and I have I sideboarded a ton of cards, which is always dangerous to do in a combo deck, but but it felt like I needed to have a way to not lose more than I needed a way to win. Sure. Just because he's so good post board against me. But yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I don't think there's really any questions in the chat. Someone was saying that you should play Meditate, Shawn, in the Cat Boom deck.
For sure. Meditate was a miss that I had when I was putting this together. I think like we were talking. I was talking with Phil, and actually Gabe, after I played him, has been talking a lot with me about changes to this. I think meditate for sure can come in. Some I don't know if it's to replace the contracts or some of the contracts, or maybe it's for meditate and 2 contracts or something like that. Stroke of Genius is interesting. It costs 2 extra mana, but it's instant speed and it only helps you. And you know, I think you probably want some better interaction main deck, maybe some Naturalizes, City of Solitudes main deck, something like that maybe. So there's some changes for sure. I think the Limdual's Vaults also are probably a little weak. It's not Vampiric Tutor, which is kind of what
I'm
it
going to throw my hat in the ring.
So, yeah.
I'm going to say 3 Meditates instead of the Limdual's Vaults, and then I'm going to say 2 Ill-Gotten Gains instead of the Plagiarize.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, let me see also, these are, I'm going to see if I can find the ideas that Gabe also, I'm spoiling the tech maybe here with Gabe, but you know, it's Prosbloom. Everyone wants Prosbloom to work. So, a scroll rack. Actually, scroll rack would be great because a lot of times you prosperity for 7 or whatever, and you don't find what you need, and you just would love to be able to get 7 more, and see if you can find something. Maybe Frantic Search, the counter spell. So this has mana drains in it. Maybe instead of mana drains, either prohibits or memory lapses. Maybe something like Drain Power, Mana Short, something to try and tap the opponent down. And then Well of Knowledge is an interesting one. Well of Knowledge with a Cadaverous Bloom in play lets you cycle your entire deck for free, which is very interesting, I think, for this deck. So,
or you could do what I do for all my decks and put in Sunder, and then you could Cad Bloom and then Sunder all your lands back, and then exile them for extra mana.
And then play Natural Balance, and then
There
tap all of the lands, and then Sunder again,
Mm-hmm.
and then Cad Bloom again, and just keep going forever. It'd be great.
Sunder's the answer to everything, man.
Sunder Bloom.
Yep, we just invented a new deck.
Yep, summer 2021.
You've even already got a theme song figured out.
What's that?
Sunder, 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 Bloom. Right?
Perfect.
Yeah. All right.
The Thundercats. Yes.
We can workshop it a little bit, but I like it.
It's pretty close already. Yeah. Don't need to gild the lily on that one. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I thought you were going for like a Sunderstruck kind of thing. That's what I thought you were gonna go for.
Thunderstruck could be good too.
But
see, that's the thing about combo decks is that they used to have like breakfast names to become legitimate, but now you need like a theme song too. I think that's like the next level.
All right.
Yeah.
We can start that trend.
Excellent.
Sounds good. Well, thanks very much for the games, and thanks for hosting as always.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
for sure. Yep.
Thanks,
Congrats,
guys.
Phil. Good games.
Congrats,
good games.
Phil. Good games, guys.
All right. Later.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
All right, let's move over to our schedule. We can look to see what we have lined up for our Wednesday matches. We have Andy Culpepper playing against Brian Manilakis and Aaron Dix playing against Anthony Harrison. So let me go over to our standing screen. We can look at where we're at there. So Andy plays... Oh, here I'm forgetting. Okay, wait. Let me jump back over the schedule. We have Andy versus Brian, Aaron versus Anthony. Okay, so Andy versus Brian. So Andy's 3-1, Brian's 2-2, and then Aaron is 3-1 against Anthony with 2-2. So really important matches, I think, for the 2-2 players. I think if they want to have a good shot, like they're looking to pick up wins, at least 2 wins in the next 3 weeks, because we will play 7 rounds. You'll play each opponent once until we cut to the playoffs. So the players in 5th place right now, I think, are really looking for wins, and then pulling ahead to 4-1, I think, is also very important. It gives you a little bit of breathing room, though nothing is set in stone yet. So is there anything you want to add, Flint, before we head out?
I was out during the intermission, but as always, check out the friends of the show, Premodcast. They just had a release an episode today where they talked about the Winter Blast and some other upcoming events. If you're not part of the Premodern online Facebook group, join. Come play in the monthlies. Obviously, my co-host here, Mike Hoyp, is going to be running the Spring Fling in the next couple of weeks. Sign up for that; it's really fun. And thank you, 90s MTG, for the raid. Go check out their stuff. They do a lot of really cool webcam magic. And listen to some of the other pre-modern podcasts like All Things Considered or Monster of the Week. There are a lot of really good ones. And yeah, join our community.
Yep. Yeah, I'll just reiterate. Yeah, if you're interested in the Spring Fling, there is a registration on either the Premodern online play group, also the Premodern Facebook group. If you have any questions, you could contact me in some way or reach out in any way, and I will get you to that if that's what you need be. But we're looking to have as many players that are interested in playing, and I'm looking forward to that. Otherwise, I am also looking forward to more pre-modern matches on Wednesday. Right now, I think we've shaped things up, and now the matches we can kind of see the playoffs in sight, and I think that's kind of where the storyline heads of these matches. How do they play out, and giving a position for a player of making that top four. So these matches feel like they have a little bit of more weight behind it, as before the initial weeks we're just kind of trying things out. I think we have seen all 24 decks. I'm not 100% sure on that, but
I'm pretty sure we have at this point.
I think Phil's Esper Zombie Still was the last one. So we have seen a ton of variety so far, and it's been really exciting. So I'm excited to see what is in store for the later half of the series, and looking forward to crowning a champion. But that will bring us to a close for tonight. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. We had a lot of subscriptions today, a good amount of follows. I want to thank everyone for being active in chat, participating. We really appreciate that. Helps keep things going with the stream. And I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are enjoying it too. And we will see you on Wednesday. Until next time, take care.